ranking all the King Kong movies worst to best. I'm only going to be including the ones that are solo. Let's get into it. Starting off at dead last is going to be Son of Kong. While I do own this movie and I do kind of enjoy this movie, this only came out 1 year after the original 1933 Kong, and it was a heartfelt story. Of course, Kong died again, but it didn't really add to anything. It was definitely just a one and done off the success of the first movie. Coming in at 6th place, there's going to be the 1933 King Kong movie, and I know everyone's going to be like, what? This is the original, the first one that ever came out. While I do enjoy every single King Kong movie for the most part, I had to put this one lower on the list because of the racism that it had in this movie. You gotta remember this was 1933. The movie itself is good, but the racism knocks it down like a couple pegs, you know what I'm saying? Overall, still a good movie. I enjoy every single King Kong movie. Then we got King Kong Lives. This one is fundamentally worse than 1933. It is just a silly ass movie, but there are some aspects about the movie that I do like. I love the fact that they gave my man a girlfriend. That was amazing, but his design went downhill in my opinion from the first movie. Definitely looks like a cheaper costume. Either way, this movie was not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. In 4th place, The Mighty Kong. This was an animated movie that I used to watch when I was a baby, and I loved the fucking film. It's practically the same King Kong story, but just animated, but it was done very, very well. It also has some good musical numbers in it. I loved it. And then we have King Kong 1976. Now, personally, this has potential to be number 1 or number 2. But like we all know, 1970s movies have an extremely weird pacing. As in weird, I just mean long. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour to even see King Kong in this film. And it felt like most of it was just filler until we got to King Kong, if I'm being honest. Either way, the story's done really well. And I like how they switched it up in this film where he climbs the Twin Towers instead of the Empire State Building. Either way, this movie was magnificent and I loved it. At number 2, Kong Skull Island. This is no doubt one of my favorite Kong movies of all time. They got his character down to a T in this film. He can be a badass or the sweetest loving creature you'll ever meet. That's King Kong. And at number 1, are we really even surprised? King Kong 2005 by Peter Jackson. The best one of all. Now, I do have the same complaint as I did for the 1976 movie. This movie is long and it takes a very long time to get to actually see King Kong. And when I was little, I was super disappointed on the delivery of King Kong in this particular film, because I thought he was going to be the bipedal humanoid King Kong that I've seen in all the other movies, but instead he was realistic. I actually grew to love this design the most. And I'm going to have to admit something to you guys. This was the first movie ever to legitimately make me cry. This movie is by far the one where you bond with King Kong the most, and it is definitely the saddest King Kong movie of all time. And he is also one of the most badass King Kong iterations of all time as well. This one will always be my number 1. Comment down below, do you agree with my listing? How would you rank the movies? Comment down below.